Jim and I were opposites in so many ways. I think it worked mainly because of his patience and understanding, that which we had together, both personally and in performance, and then the creative partnership that I shared with him and others. I knew, not all the time, but in the last 15 years or so, that he was a very singular human being. Looking here, I think I only realize now how large a man this was, this man that I just worked with and played with and had so much fun with. And we did have fun. We had such great silly fun together. The best thing of all, the best thing is when you watch Jim laugh until he cried. It usually happened when we were recording something or performing with the gang, and Jim would, I don't know, we'd get so punchy and silly at 2 in the morning, and Jim would just start that high whine, and he couldn't speak, and the tears were rolling down, and he'd try to add to the joke, and he just couldn't do it. And it was the best thing to see, because you knew he was always busy and always working and pressure and thinking. It was such a purge and a release. It was wonderful. The best thing to see him do that. I can't tell you how much he supported me. I joined when I was 19, 27 years ago. And he's given me the most amazing opportunities. And he's taught me so much just by being the person who he is. It's very important to me. There's so much to tell. Let me just zero in on one little thing. About 15 years ago, we were doing Saturday Night Live, the first year of Saturday Night Live. Jim and I and a few others of the gang were doing some puppets there. And it was before Christmas, and it was just prior to dress rehearsal. The other guys had gone away to have lunch or something. So Jim and I were hanging around the halls. And as I recall, it was the hallway, Jim came up with a camera. And he said in his own quiet, enthusiastic way, he said, Frank, I need to go in the dressing room with you, and if you could take off all your clothes so I could take a picture of you naked. I said, whoa. I said, what? He said, I really need to do this. I need to take some photos of you naked. We discussed this for a while. I said, okay. All right. So we went in the dressing room, and I took off all my clothes, buck naked. Locked the door, of course. And he told me how to pose. He said, put your hands over your genitals, which I was glad to do. Bend over like this, and look into the camera in a state of shock, which was not difficult at that time. So I bent over, and I looked like that, and he took some photos of me naked. Okay, no problem. I got dressed, we did the show. It was Christmas time. He gave me a gift. The gift was about this large. I have it. And the gift, I'll describe it to you. It's difficult. It's more like made of some of Bert's toys, and it was a wall-hanging sculpture kind of thing, about this big. And it was a head of Bert, and Bert's arms are holding a ledge. And on the ledge are about a dozen little Berts, tiny Berts you can buy in the stores at that time, about 1.5 inches high. And you could turn them in different directions, looking over there, and looking back at the big Bert's head while the big Bert was looking down at the little Berts. And On that ledge, underneath the Burts, were faces, photographs that Jim obviously took of many of the shop people, the workshop people, several of which were responsible in the making of Bert, and certainly all of which were responsible in the making of the Muppets. And they were all looking up the camera, and their little faces, about that big, all along the top of the ledge. On the edge of this wooden ledge, Jim had painted layers, like earth striations, which were really, I gather, layers of Bert's mind, layers of his soul. By the way, I do Bert to Jim's Ernie. And within those layers, the striations, he painted textures, beautiful little textures. And then I noticed Bert's eyes, the large Bert's eyes the pupils were cut out. And you look inside Bert's brain, and there I am, naked, looking at this. I knew he had a good reason. I say that to share that with you. Oh, by the way, he entitled it Bert in Self-Contemplation. And I share it with you because so much of Jim is in that gift. The detail that he loved so much, Persian rugs and trees and life, the detail in the layers, the textures, he had so much fun. I just see him hunched over, real gleeful, giggling of doing this. And I could see him just cutting those little photos out so he doesn't cut the ears or the nose off of the photo people, and he pasted them on himself. And the generosity of time in order to do this when he was so busy, the generosity of taking the time to do it, and not only the giving of the gift, but the anticipation of giving. I can't tell you so many times Jim would say to me, "Oh, I can't wait to give this gift to Janie or Brian or Davey or whoever." The anticipation of giving was so wonderful with Jim. And the complexity of that gift, Bert looking at himself, me inside, the little Bert's looking all around, the complexity, inwardness of that, and the simplicity of the concept was also Jim. And the quality of the gift and the craftsmanship, it all speaks so much of Jim, that gift. And I think the love, I think that's what I knew. He loved me and I loved him.